say.
The readjustment of the annual budget with cuts on expenditure spares 6 core ministries and their agencies. The exempt ministries, which are considered crucial to dealing with the pandemic, are health, security, ICT and local government. Agriculture and science and technology will also be exempt. An estimated sum of 400 billion shillings is allocated to the 4 core sectors out of the 600 billion supplementary budget, with around 200 billion put aside for other emergencies.
All of those were exempted because of their influence in terms of the fighting against COVID. All the others were cut for now because of the situation that is prevailing.
The health supplementary is planned for provision of oxygen, while the normal sector budget release is prioritized for infrastructure, allocated 94 billion shillings, 67 billion for procurement of hospital beds, 11 billion shall take care of the allowances of health personnel, 218 to national medical stores for purchase of vaccines, and 86 billion for national and regional referral hospitals. Of the 53 billion allocated for local governments, 27 billion is geared towards the reactivation of village health teams. Ministries, departments and agencies may further suffer the brunt of budget cuts, with the taxman failing to meet expected revenue collection. Figures by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development show that Uganda Revenue Authority fell short by 2 trillion shillings in revenue collections for the months of June and July.
We cannot continue business as usual in terms of expenditure. Well aware that there are a number of issues that are affecting lower than expected performance with respect to the growth of the economy.
Patrick Ocailap laid out the figures during the announcement of the release of 5.6 trillion shillings for the first quarter of the 2021-22 financial year.
June, the returns, where we normally have a big spike in terms of revenue collection, did not hit the spike we wanted because of the lockdown. The lockdown took place in June, I think. And we didn't expect it to be any better for July. If anything, it's going to be slightly worse in July than in June in terms of the downturn of revenue.
Economic growth slumped in the last quarter of the just concluded financial year, marking a bleak beginning for the current financial year.
By the end of this last financial year, economic growth would be about 3.3% in real terms. The revised numbers which are likely to come through indicate a slightly less than that performance on account of the lockdown that was instituted.
Meanwhile, nurses have a reason to smile because in its release, the Treasury has included 32 billion shillings to increase individual lunch allowances ranging between 10,000 and 15,000 shillings, up from 2,000 and 3,000 shillings. The leaders of the nurses welcomed the development.
Assure the government that the nurses and the health sector now will work tirelessly, not only in terms of COVID, but every time they are supposed to.
The Treasury expects even a further frugal management of resources by MDS as the situation remains fluid for the financing of the shillings 44.7 trillion budget for the financial year 2021-22. Jackson Onyango, NTV.
So there are some copies here.